PinkMoose Podcast will move on to different subjects. So let's see what we can cover today, and if you guys could smash that like button, hit the subscribe, please share. We would love that so much, and we appreciate everything that you guys are doing to support us. Please leave a comment if you have suggestions, concerns, and now please stay tuned for this video. Ciao.
Welcome back to the fourth episode of the PinkMoose Podcast. I am your host, Matthew. Today we have a couple guests. Tim.
How's it going?
Joshua.
Hello.
We have Nate today.
How's it going?
And Connor.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? Alright, today we'll be talking the Joker trailer, Deadpool and Wolverine, and food review. Let's get right into it. So the Joker trailer just came out this week. We also had some San Diego Comic-Con announcements, but we will say that for next week since of recording, this is still happening right now. So with the Joker trailer, did you guys get a chance to see it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was very interesting. We definitely saw it before the Deadpool movie as well this week, but any first thoughts about Gaga or the singing or Phoenix himself?
I got some stuff. Just really quickly, I think that I was very excited for it, and I really liked the Joker movie, but upon watching the trailer, I'm less excited for it, I think. I don't know.
Very much so.
I was really excited. I was like, musical Joker. It's gonna be. He's even doing the same dance down the stairs. I'm like, I feel like it's gonna be this.
I was hoping for a different vibe or makeup or something.
And it's really weird having a politically driven Joker movie where he's like in court, but he's as Joker, and he's like a political figure, or like a versus being a psychopath like Joker naturally usually is.
Well, Todd Phillips in the beginning, when they first did the first one, he wanted to make a movie that was like, it felt like Mean Streets or like a early Scorsese movie where it was a standalone movie and it was really raw and it was really gritty and it was character driven. That's fucking what we want. That's what we need in the world right now, in the world of movies, and Joker was a smash hit because of that. And they notoriously said, we're not going to do any more. It's a standalone movie. But then the money started rolling in, and guess what they started doing? Maybe we should do another one. Maybe we should do another one. And yeah, I get that, you know, money talks and people like the Joker and people probably want a second Joker, but it really feels like it's going to be the same movie. And I don't even know what you could do to make it a better movie, because the first one was it was written to be a standalone movie. So like, how do you continue and make it good? And that I can't make any real judgment calls because I've only seen the trailer, but God, do I have a feeling?
Yeah, I think you guys hit it right on the head. You know, it's a movie we're all excited for, and now it just looks like it's gonna be a letdown.
Yeah,
like I really do like Gaga, but I don't think she's gonna be the problem in this situation itself. Is it at the end of the thing, like they had like the whole? It kind of seemed like the same movie. Like at the end, there's a whole show that they're kind of showcasing off.
The exact,
running away from the cops like he did the first one. And
same run. No, it was really. It felt like the same setup, and I don't know what they're gonna do. It's really weird because I thought the end of the first one was kind of setting up for like the first one being political, and then after if they were gonna make a sequel to it, he'd be like kind of an anarchist. But he still has it. How's he have a show? That's on air.
I don't know. I feel like. Well, I feel like it's gonna go into the dreamscape like the first one did a little bit. You know, it's gonna continue down that path. So I don't know if the show's not real. Probably it can't be. You know.
The first show was real.
Not really. No, like 90% of that movie was in his head. It's like Drive.
I feel like a lot of this film is going to be in prison. A lot of they're going to play the prison role a lot. Because in the comics, obviously, he meets Harley Quinn at prison, and she's the nurse.
She's probably a social worker.
Probably a social worker. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. From what I got from the trailer, it didn't seem. It seemed like she was just a crazy fan, and nothing about this is character or comic book accurate. Nothing about the Joker is a comic book accurate. It's because he wanted to do a movie. Todd Phillips wanted to do a movie again, like Mean Streets, but nobody wants to make those movies anymore. So he said to himself, "How can I do this and still make the movie?" And the only way that you can do that is with a superhero character in today's world. So he just chose Joker, and it was a smart idea. But again, I just don't know if we need a new one. Joaquin's always great. Gaga's iffy at best. You know, Todd Phillips has usually got a great, you know, a repertoire of films, but I feel like this should be like Elf. Will Ferrell should step in and say, "Hey, man, I don't think you should do it. Just turn it down."
It definitely would have been cemented in better light in history if it didn't make something like that. Once again, Josh said,
I think there could be a second one of it, but the way they went with it just doesn't seem
it's the same vibe. Yeah, I want like a whole different aspect or point of view. And you're right. At the end of the trailer, I forgot that Gaga's like singing to him as well, so she does seem like another patient. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Harley Quinn was a crazy fan who also was a psychiatrist for Arkham, but so she might be a psychiatrist. They might play that in.
But maybe that.
But she's.
I feel like they could give her be a social worker or something.
Yeah, right? And it's also weird to see Harley Quinn not liberated, because we've gone down this path since the 90s, since Harley Quinn's creation, where she was a crazy fan. And since in the last, 15 years, they've started to pull her away from the Joker, where they broke up. She went lesbian, and she's kind of her own thing now. And she's really made a name for herself, and she's liberated as a woman. I mean, there was a whole movie called The Emancipation of Harley Quinn, or whatever it was,
She really does seem like her own character. She doesn't seem like Joker's sidekick.
No, not anymore. But this Harley Quinn is. It seems like it's right back to when when. Yeah, where Tim and Paul Dini created, and that's kind of my thoughts on it. Joaquin did a great job as Johnny Cash, so I know he can sing.
I know they're both gonna sing.
I know they're both gonna sing, and I know they're both at least good enough, So
it's all gonna be sad songs about smiling though.
Yeah, that's what it is. Here come send in the clowns.
That's some cheeky clown stuff.
Yeah, some American standard about clowns.
All right, guys. Hey, so I couldn't find the tzatziki chips this week. They are coming out this following week with also a Lay's deep dish flavor that I'm really excited for. Hopefully, I will track those down. But in the meanwhile, Tim did find cup noodles campfire s'mores. So it's basically just s'mores flavored ramen. It's literally insane.
I don't know how to feel about it either. I don't know how to feel about it. It looks interesting though.
I mean, I love s'mores and I love ramen, but the two can't. It comes with little marshmallows, but they already did dissolve correctly.
Yeah, I believe so. It was definitely marshmallows a minute ago.
And it is a chocolate sauce.
Yeah, it was a chocolate powder.
The concept of, dessert ramen isn't sounding too insane.
I don't know. We're gonna try it.
We're gonna try it.
Dessert ramen.
All right, here we go.
Stick around and find out.
Get a little twirl.
Yeah, do a little twirl in there.
Oh yeah, I like it.
I gotta get mine.
All right, let's go.
Let's try it.
All right, let's go.
It's a lot saltier than I was thinking it was gonna be.
It is a lot saltier, but it's a lot more chocolatey too.
It is.
That's hot.
That's hot.
It is hot.
That's
but
very hot.
I'm going for seconds ready.
The flavor though of chocolate mixed with the physical heat is fascinating. It does taste like a hot s'more though. Like you have a hot s'more in your mouth.
It's really hot. I really need some water.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Hot. It's good. Definitely let that sit for a couple
Holy
more.
shit, dude.
Yeah, maybe we should let that group. It was one of those ones.
Get on my level. You'll get.
Yeah, feel better.
Yeah, it feels much better.
I don't know.
Yeah, get on
That was
the-
brutal.
Oh,
Just touching that.
yeah. Get on here. I mean, it is a limited edition, so if you are interested, I would find it hot. Tim, where'd you find it at?
Walmart. 7 grams of sugar.
7 grams.
7 grams of protein.
Interesting.
Interesting.
There's protein in this.
That's protein. You could potentially stay alive on these things.
It is fascinating. It is. The noodles do kind of taste like the graham cracker. If
They
you
do.
think about it.
They kinda do.
The sauce is the chocolate.
I wonder. It's kind of good,
The noodles. It is kind of good. We're still eating it.
Good.
Yeah.
It is kind of good.
We're all still eating it. We all have forks full, ready to go.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, we're still going in for bites.
Yeah, we're almost
this
finished.
is
We're
is
gonna
not
finish
bad.
this thing. It is fascinatingly delicious.
Yeah, I'd give it a weird 7, 8 out of 10.
I'd say it was 8 at least.
8 out of 10.
Because I can actually put this down.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.
I go 7.
Yeah.
Definitely would eat it. I probably wouldn't buy it.
I would do it like on a camping trip.
Yeah.
Camping trip would be great. Obviously, s'mores related, but
It would definitely be a buy for me to just show other people this product, not for myself. I'm not gonna go buy
Correct.
and eat.
Yeah.
you got to eat this with a gang. But
Oh, I gotta try this out.
yeah, boiling water over a campfire.
Yeah, you know what? Those kind of good.
That sounds
You
good.
might make your own homemade ones like this. Only $1.50 for this thing too.
That's a good deal.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll throw up a photo on the next Instagram post. Yeah, check it out. Connor can't get enough. He's scraping the bottom.
Yeah. Dude, sir, stop eating the cup.
Yeah, no, dude, you can finish it.
You're going through.
You can
I'm
finish
not
it.
finished.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Somebody else finish that.
All right. Till next review. Hopefully, it's the Lay's either tzatziki or deep dish.
Peace.
All right.
Delicious ramen. This week's topic is Deadpool and Wolverine. Feels like this movie has been in the makes for 20 years. A lot of films that came before it, and if you haven't seen any of the X-Men movies before seeing this, you are completely in the dark. But there's no way you've seen this movie without seeing any Hugh Jackman before. So this is the first MCU film that's rated R, first X-Men really driven film, and it had a lot riding on it. Any of you guys want to give your first reactions to it before we can talk about a little bit of like the premise, the characters, and then a little bit we can go into spoilers.
Okay.
So yeah, Tim, you got anything right off the bat you want to talk about? The intro, the music, the characters that aren't spoilers?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun movie. I don't think it was what I was expecting 100%. I don't think this is a spoiler, but I don't think it did as much for the setup of the X-Men into the MCU as I thought it would do. It kind of felt like a standalone movie that could have been thrown away and nothing would have changed in the MCU. Really, it was really fun to see a lot of characters back. There are a lot we'll get to that I was not expecting. That was fun, but altogether,
I don't think we're gonna see any of those characters again.
I don't think so either.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe the one, but that once again we'll get to again in the spoiler review. But overall, I thought it was a fun movie. It was not as quote unquote good or.
Well, how do you feel it compares to the other Deadpools?
I like this one. I like Wolverine a lot. I don't like that. I like Deadpool, but I don't like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I think he's a great Deadpool. I think he really makes it work as Deadpool. He's obviously one of those people who's casted to be that person and is born to be that person as well. But I just personally don't like Ryan Reynolds.
He gets to be a lot for me too.
But I like Deadpool. Like Deadpool comics and the game that Josh and I used to play. The Deadpool game. Yeah, so fun. And this one. It did feel like the most Deadpool movie. He actually acted the most like I feel like the comic or Wade Wilson would act, which was really fun.
I think that the movie would have been maybe better or benefited if it was like an hour longer, except because you would have got more into the story and more story out of it. But I also don't think I could have handled another hour of Ryan Reynolds. So it's like a catch-22 for me.
I think Hugh Jackman really saved the movie for me as compared to Ryan Reynolds. I think it was more a better Wolverine movie.
I think we forget how good of an actor Hugh Jackman is. Like he's like a classically trained actor.
I know. Josh kept leaning over and being like, "Man, I forgot how good he is." And I was like,
I forgot how good he is. There's, it's like he's
like there's a couple of times.
He's one of those actors where you see everything on his face.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he can do anything.
He can.
A 6'5" jacked Australian. Chris Hemsworth and Hugh Jackman with a perfect face. God,
you can do it. Anyone can.
I personally feel that this is like No Way Home. Spider-Man was the first MCU fan service kind of film, and this definitely is in the same genre of that, of being fan service. And yes, they're both very different. At the same time, there's even Multiverse of Madness. There's a couple little tidbits. I mean, there's a lot of tidbits in this one. that are so fan service. These characters, these situations, even the whole movie itself is fan service. And so is No Way Home of the 3 Spider-Man. But they honestly, I did not think they'd give a lot away in the trailers, but after seeing the movie, they actually did give a decent amount away.
A lot.
It was one of those movies too where they didn't even care about switching up the trailers. I was like, a lot of the good jokes were trailer jokes. I'm like, they didn't change it at all. No. I was like, I'm surprised that a MCU movie didn't alter the trailer a little bit.
I'd be interested to see some of the B-roll of the movie because I don't know how much riffing they did, but if you ever watch like B-roll of like a John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell movie, there's like 80% riffing in the background and it's just different jokes that they keep running, and then they pick the best jokes for the movie. But I don't know how much they did of that in here. It's
hard to tell.
So I guess time will tell.
I think it was less riffing than because Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy wrote it together. This movie.
There was like 5 writers.
There was like 5 writers, but I think they probably. I don't know. Maybe there was a lot. I have no way to tell unless I see the B-roll. So
sounds like too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah,
sounds like a lot going on.
I agree.
Especially if you're getting, no offense to Ryan Reynolds, I think he's funny, but if he's getting in the mix on writing it too and being the lead actor, it gets a little bit much. I think. I mean, I don't know.
He's too close to the case. Take him off.
Close to the sun, yeah. Nate, Tom, you guys, anything before we get into spoilers?
I didn't watch any trailers going into it, and just my thoughts, I guess, on it as a whole was, it wasn't what I was hoping for. I'm a Deadpool fan. I think Ryan Reynolds has always been a decent Deadpool. I don't know. I just think there's just no point, no.
Yeah. Why'd they do it?
Yeah. Why did they do it?
Hugh Jackman had the perfect send off.
He did.
I think you hit it right on the head of fan service. Just I guess giving us what we want, but.
And I think that's where we are in the, I should say specifically the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Marvel money corrupts.
They're really throwing in.
Something's wrong. I don't know.
They're really just like resorting to just fan service because they can't. Nothing else is working for them
Marvel
right now.
money corrupts.
They're like, I guess we'll just throw some old characters in and see what happens. They're gonna make money.
Well, Nate and I had a little bit of a conversation, and we were talking about how I think it was as good as it could have been. It definitely it hit its ceiling, but there was a ceiling on the movie on how good this movie could have been. You can only do so much with it. I think they did it to the best of their ability, and I don't think that they could have made it any better than it actually was.
Mm-hmm. It did have really, like I was saying when I left the theater, I think the best way I can explain how I feel about it is that it had good sequences, it had good scenes, but it did not have a good story. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of spots in the story that you were like in the moment, like that does not make sense. You know, sometimes you go back and you're like, that didn't make sense. In the moment, I was like, that didn't make sense. Yeah. But a lot of the sequences were really fun and satisfying as a Wolverine and Deadpool fan, a Marvel fan or just a superhero fan in general.
Which
they were like all the different Wolverine variants was very fun, but it didn't make.
I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt with it too, because I was thinking, it's hard to do a multiverse movie in 2.5 hours or 2 hours. But then I went back to the animated Spider-Man from the 90s, and
it hits.
And they did that stuff, and it's. If you look at it, if you look at this way those seasons are broken up, it's like a arcing story that has like 9 episodes, and it's like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, etc. But those are only like 20-minute episodes, 25-minute episodes, so they did it in less time, and it was better,
Speaking of that, I think it's so funny that so many superhero fans are always so excited about the multiversal stuff and like Spider-Verse, and but everyone just I feel like generally is has the same opinion that we do, where it's like, oh, they're throwing in another 2000 character. Mm-hmm. Here we go again.
I know.
But everyone's like so hyped up about just seeing a different Spider-Man. Just a different.
We keep coming out of these bad movies being like, but this movie's gonna save it. They're gonna do really good on this one, and they, it's like, they definitely have they have us in like a psychological chokehold right now. Where we're like, they're gonna turn it around. It's gonna be good. They got it, but they don't.
It's Spider-Man. Spider-Man's gonna save it.
Yeah. I mean, he always does.
That's what we're saying right now until we walk out of that movie with the same review.
Either Spider-Man or Iron Man's got to be the anchor.
But
But if Iron Man comes back at any point, let's say Secret Wars,
I don't want to want that.
yeah, it's gonna be this. It's gonna feel the same thing as Hugh Jackman. Like he had a great send off, a great run, and a great send off. Let it die.
Yeah,
well, I was gonna say with this whole multiversal thing, to my point earlier, I think that what's so much better about a lot of other animated it is like Spider-Verse. They don't rely on the cameos. I feel like they started just relying on the cameos to make the movie now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Multiverse of Madness was the first one that they kind of relied on the cameos.
And ever since,
Unfortunately,
I'm the biggest.
Is No Way Home before or after?
It was
Multiverse of Madness.
It was before Multiverse.
It was before, I think.
It was before Multiverse.
Yeah, but I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan. I love Spider-Man, but it was a lot of fan service, and it was kind of relying on Tobey and Andrew and all the Sinister Six from the other movies to pull the movie.
It was the same movie. I think that Deadpool did it better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Deadpool did it better, but it was the same kind of concept where there was no story, and we're relying on these, legacy characters to really kind of tow us through this mud, and I don't know.
I just thought overall,
Spider-Man had a story.
Spider-Man was a great story,
wrong.
and I will never any
story.
Spider-Man movie.
He's being sent off now. He's going to be his own Spider.
it was based on a wish.
I think that No Way Home was a better story than Deadpool.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it was more heart to it. There were some repercussions, like Aunt May dying.
He has nobody now.
Now he has. It sets up. This does not set up.
There are repercussions, but I was surprised in Deadpool Wolverine.
That's fair.
In Spider-Man, I was like, oh, I knew,
That's fair. But at
They're
least it's getting us to the point where Spider-Man can become the Spider-Man we
Yes,
want.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
True.
Yeah.
At
least it had some
Deadpool-
positive coming out of it.
Deadpool's like no point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a movie man.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys that.
Send up
one.
Avengers 5, guys.
They don't.
Send up Avengers 5.
I'm about to throw in the towel on
Yeah,
Marvel
man.
and just wait for James Gunn to save us all.
I'm just done. Let's make our own.
So,
Yeah.
Let's make our own.
Well, if you look,
The boys tried.
Yeah, it worked.
They were.
it might
but
be
even
a
them,
whole
even
reboot.
them, they're killing it. They just announced that they're doing a Soldier Boy prequel
Yeah.
set in the 50s, and
They might just need to reboot.
They just need to stop Marvel or just superhero movies.
well, I don't know if they need to
Or-
reboot, but if you look at let's take it from the very beginning. We started with Iron Man. I mean, we can go back to Hulk before that if you want, but we'll start with Iron Man. Iron Man was like a Logan movie where it was like a real character. I could feel this guy's pain. I understand exactly what he is, going through, and there's a resolution at the end, and there's weight to it. And as they continued down that path with the standalone movies, even Captain America and they feel like these are like good standalone movies. And even in the early years, they were trying to do different genres in this one. So if you get to Captain America Winter Soldier, it's like an espionage movie.
Yeah.
It's not a superhero movie. And that's kind of why I'm really excited for
Brave New World.
because it feels like it might be like a Winter Soldier
It
type
looks-
movie.
That's one that the trailer made me more excited for. 'Cause I was not excited for it.
Yeah, so I'm excited really excited for that one. I think that one might be good. I'm not going to say it's going to save the universe because I don't think anybody thinks it's going to save the universe, but I think it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Marvel they've gotten themselves into this multiversal realm, and that's where we wanted them to go. But I just think that
And now we're here.
now we're here. There's no weight to any. They're not putting any weight to any of it. Like Days of Future Past did it amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You could watch Days of Future Past, and there's so many things going on in that movie, and there's so many moving parts, and you're like enthralled the entire time.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And I've talked about it before, but they rewrote it. They rewrote the entire timeline in that, and there was still weight at the end. And I think there's two parts to it. I think Deadpool doesn't have the capacity to do that because he's such a jokey character.
Yeah.
You can't take him serious. But like Tim said, I do think Wolverine kind of was the one that pulled us through this one.
Yeah, he did.
Mainly because, when you look at a tragedy, I was actually just listening to, or I was reading that Hero's Journey book and listening to some stuff on that. And they talk about, like, the idea of the tragedy, and if really that's what this movie would be kind of a comedy tragedy. but it didn't have the weight of the tragedy. It had it kind of hanging, but it never actually, fell. And I think one of the things about that is when you look at the tragedy as a whole, what has to happen in the tragedy is a tragedy in the beginning has to kind of fall upon a good character. It can't fall on a bad guy. And that's why I think Wolverine really kind of was the one that pushed us through this, because he's a character that you can see he's not a bad guy. He's maybe a bad guy internally, but he's always struggling with himself to be a good guy.
Be the good guy.
And you can see him doing that, and that's why the tragedy works in this. That's why it was a weird movie, because the tragedy really worked for Wolverine, but you can't put the tragedy on Deadpool because Deadpool doesn't care. He doesn't care.
He doesn't have remorse.
He doesn't have any remorse, really. And I don't think you can't put the tragedy on him, and you just don't feel anything with him.
I agree, man.
It's not enough.
Yeah, but even after Vanessa in the second one, he's still doing the same stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
He has no
it's
arc.
not enough.
He
And Vanessa
reverts
wasn't in the
back to
movie
just being
enough.
Deadpool.
Yeah. He was trying to be good, and then
he ends up being the same point. Yeah,
same exact place.
Yeah, he's always gonna show up at the same place.
And that's why
He's gonna do a reverse arc.
Yeah, he's gonna actually. Yeah.
It had to take something from Deadpool, like literally no more killing for us to have a tragedy. With it.
Yeah, exactly.
Something.
There's some real repercussions, and there was no real repercussions, and except for Wolverine. Wolverine did have real repercussions, and you can feel it to a point,
But the thing is that Wolverine's a character that can do that. Deadpool, it would kill his character if you tried to do that, because any way that he would, it's fundamentally his character.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Wolverine can have a little bit more room to,
That's why I think, arc. Before they even went into any of the stuff, they should have realized that and been like, I don't know if this is.
Deadpool's just not that guy.
I was gonna say, I don't. Just like they were saying, he's not the hero type.
Yeah.
He's not the hero type.
Mm-mm.
I think that's and he never switched over to being the hero type at the end. He was still, I think, the same situation.
Well, the second Deadpool, when he almost kills himself with the band around his neck, that one was the closest thing we've seen Ryan Reynolds come to.
Yeah,
you can have. Sorry, I don't interrupt you.
No,
you can have moments where these characters. There's definitely moments in the movie where you're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to feel sad for this guy," but you don't feel sad for him.
But the thing is it's selfish. Like even in Deadpool 2, is that it's not because he wants to sacrifice. It's more because he's depressed because he killed his girlfriend, and so he just wants to die to be with her. So it's a selfish thing, kind of, that he wants to die. And he's like, well, this is a good way to go out like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he also does like Russell. Yeah, but it's like a side by side thing. It's not like full sacrifice.
That's not his art.
That's
more of a dynamic.
Yeah, that's his dynamic.
Mm-hmm. And that's just who he is. And that's his character.
But you can never have, if you listen to George Lucas talk about, Darth Maul. Darth Maul was really inspired by that hero's journey story as well, and he was always supposed to die. He was always supposed to fail. His character is always going to fail. No matter what he does, he's always going to fail. And that's how stories are been told for all of history, There are rules to the story, and they just have no regard to the rules.
Even if he does have spider-like.
Mm-hmm. He does have spider-like.
Well, he's
not later on.
He's going to fail. He's always going to aspire for higher things, but he's always going to fail. It's his character. He's always going to fail.
Mm-hmm. That's why he's put there. And so I think Deadpool did what he could, and I think that it was not the writing in this situation. It's just Deadpool's Deadpool.
It's just Deadpool is the character.
If you want to stay true to the character, then you can't have that art.
You can't have real weight.
Yeah. So you either give the fans what they want with the character, or make the character a good character. Right. And so they opted for not the latter.
It's crazy though, because in the comics at least they have made stories where Deadpool has that weight where he affects the whole
universe.
Have,
yeah.
That's why we need Geoff Johns. Bring him back.
Yeah.
Geoff Johns. No, they do not.
No, they don't. Give Frank Miller a run on Deadpool.
I don't need to give Frank Miller anything. Actually, that'd be
crazy.
Dark Deadpool.
Yeah. That'd be crazy, dude.
But it's tough because he's also a fourth wall breaker, so he's like self-aware if he has an arc too.
If they would have just done an old man Deadpool, I would have been into it. Like a Logan, but Deadpool.
Or he's just done.
Yeah. That would have been different because you're giving us but they need Deadpool in the Marvel universe now, apparently, for whatever reason. I guess.
Okay, Deadpool and Wolverine spoilers. Here it is. If you haven't seen it, cut off now. Here it is, spoilers. Favorite cameo or favorite situation in the film that is clearly a spoiler?
I think we all have our favorite cameo. There's only one cameo.
There's two. There's two. Mine's Blade, because that one was so out of left
That's
field.
what I'm saying.
and also, if you know that Wesley Snipes is really hard to work with, and
He doesn't do
there was a
anything.
lot of things saying no to that cameo, and he still popped up.
Did you guys know Electro was going to be in there?
That one
I
I
had
kind
a
of was.
feeling.
I was happy
Electro,
that
I
was
think
Electro.
I did hear like a rumor a couple months ago.
I heard Deadpool and Electro.
There's
so I was
been
kind
there's
of
been a lot of
excited.
speculation about Elektra coming back for certain things in like a couple of these different films. So I had a feeling she was going to pop up at some time, at some point.
But Blade, Channing Tatum, and
Gambit is
Chris
in there.
Evans were all secrets.
Yeah.
Those were great.
Blade was definitely the best out of all of them.
Blade, because it was so
So
crazy.
fun.
Like you would not expect it.
Wesley Snipes, like you said, is notoriously hard to work with,
The man.
and he also is notoriously he like doesn't do anything unless it's like an absurd amount of money.
And Ryan Reynolds hate each other,
And him and Ryan Reynolds have notorious hate
and
and
they
like
even crack a
beef.
joke about it in the movie.
So like, how did they
They
get?
do.
How do they happen?
How did they get? I'm so curious how much they paid Wesley Snipes to come back for this, and how much, like, how they got him to like agree.
Maybe Hugh Jackman and him are friends on the down low or something.
Maybe. I mean, it's got to be. Maybe
Not really.
The old.
I feel like Wesley Snipes doesn't have friends.
No. Yeah. I think that what's really funny is that he also just acts like Wesley Snipes.
It's literally just
Because he doesn't really act. He's a lot more cracking a lot more jokes than Blake was in the movies.
Not a single
We should
vampire.
have- we
There was
should
not a
have
single
That's
bit.
like-
He was
yeah,
just cracking.
Ghost Rider.
I was thinking
I was
that Nick
confused
Cage's
with
Ghost Rider would
Ghost
be
Rider,
really
yeah.
cool. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
I was trying to think as well. At the end, they kind of showed that montage of all the Fox movies.
Yeah.
And the only one that really wasn't there was Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Was Ghost Rider
fascinating.
Fox?
That's up there with Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it Fox?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, same time as
I
Fantastic Four.
I would be. I was telling Tim I'd be interested to like when after this movie is kind of out for a little bit and they start coming out with more and more stuff like behind the scenes and such. I'd be interested to see how many people they approached to be in the movie who had scheduling conflicts
Yeah.
or the deal just wasn't worked outright. You know, I keep thinking ever since that Jennifer Lopez video came out where she's like trying to get people for her movie and everybody's saying no, and she's like, you know, just getting real down on herself. I'm like, you know, there's a whole business behind this that we want these characters, but you know,
Yeah.
sometimes
They're
it just
busy.
doesn't work out, or sometimes they just don't want to do it. You
They got
know?
lives just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like shit.
I'm surprised Wesley Snipes went back,
Mhm.
especially because he's not Blade anymore. There's already a new Blade.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
well, be one
there's
Blade.
already-
That's kind of my
It's like,
thing.
what Blade?
That's my thing is we've had so many of these like pushbacks on the Blade movie, and it's changed hands so many times, and we're not really sure of the status of it anymore. So I'm kind of wondering if he's like, fuck it, I'm coming back.
I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that.
His Blade
Yeah.
was already pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you can make those movies kind
That's
of like
crazy.
any better.
Yeah.
I don't think you
No,
can.
Blade cemented in history as
Like,
just
he
like
hit
those
those perfectly. Like,
I agree.
Bloodbath Disco. Come on.
over to the side.
I agree.
Yeah,
The
they were
fight
great,
scenes,
good movies. Mhm.
The plots, the everything.
Mhm.
I don't really think they.
And it's so funny too because Ryan Reynolds is in the third one.
He is, but he has a different character.
Yeah, and he's kind of Deadpool-ish, but he's
Yeah,
a whole
but
different character.
he's a whole different character. Yeah.
Well, it's the same with X-Men Origins.
Yeah, but in X-Men Origins, he
He's
actually
Wilson,
Wade.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In this, his name is
Right. That's what I'm trying to say is they
Hunter or
took
something.
different routes for Deadpool and
Yeah.
finally landed on a real
Yeah,
Deadpool. You know, but
Also, Hannibal King.
Hannibal King. Yeah.
It's the same with like Wolverine when Ryan was like, oh, finally the suit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like what was going on through I guess
well,
directors'
they
minds.
put him in black suits in the first X-Men because the studios, because at the time the Matrix was really big and they wanted to be kind of along that lines of the Matrix, so that's why they opted for the black leather as a
2000s.
There's
era.
always reasons.
yeah.
Also, we were at a time where not everyone was dying over superhero movies.
Mhm.
No one cared about superhero
There've been
movies.
silly
You know,
movies back in the
before
day.
Spider-Man and actually X-Men was before Spider-Man.
I think the
this
biggest
was the first big
yeah.
superhero movie like this, and so they wanted to try and make it not as nerdy. I think to
Yeah.
make it more cool.
I think what the biggest question out of the movie that kind of sparked my interest was, is Hugh Jackman the biggest in this one, or
This is the best he's
I
looked
thought
at,
about that. I thought about that.
'cause
He's
he
big
was
in this.
pretty big in the Wolverine.
But he's like that. Yeah, but
He
in the
looks-
Wolverine,
he looks
he's
younger in the
cooked.
Wolverine. I think that's what like
You're right. He does look jacked, but he's also younger now. He's still jacked, but he's like a little.
he's big.
God, to
He's
be
bigger
like
than this.
56. How old is he? 56, something
Yeah.
like that.
He looked great. He looked great as Wolverine. Man.
Yeah. He's still
It's incredible. It's
The
incredible.
fight scenes were ridiculous. With
ridiculous.
Him
I don't know
and
how.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
I liked how they went a little bit more traditional with Wolverine's fighting. In this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like he was on the floor, he was running with his hands.
Yeah.
like,
I like that. I think the CGI did not play to it.
didn't help it, but
we after
The
the
sentiment was
movie
there.
after the movie we came back and we threw on Logan for a little bit, and man, they didn't have to do it.
they didn't have to do it. Even
No, his
at Last
fight-
Stand.
his
Mhm.
fights and
Yeah.
Logan were great.
Like
Yeah.
we didn't have to. We could have done more practical.
Connor and I
it
just
would've been
watched
as good.
Last Stand
If not
Oh,
better.
I agree.
this morning, and there's a scene where he's like trying to hide,
Mhm.
from Magneto's crew and trying to get Jean back, and one of the fight scenes is so cool. And Connor and I are like, oh, this is the coolest. He crawls up a tree and jumps off back. It's all practical.
Yeah.
And then stabs them and stuff like that. And he's
Yeah.
like going through and like
Give us wires.
he's
Stop.
like cutting stuff.
You
You know,
know?
like, that's so cool. And it also looks cool because it's practical. It's
Yeah.
not. It's all CG'd.
Yeah,
How he
for
had the needle in his arm, in his
Mhm.
shoulder,
Yeah.
he ripped it out. He was like hiding behind a tree, whips it back. And
Yeah.
does the dude
I'm like,
right in
he's
the
so much
way.
cooler.
seeing a 6'5" man getting on his all fours
Yeah.
doesn't look right. Doesn't look
Yeah.
like Wolverine.
No.
He's 55.
55, yeah.
I
But
don't
seeing small Wolverine was kind of fun.
That was so
I was gonna
funny.
say, what was your favorite variant Wolverine?
Oh, very, very easy.
Yeah?
I mean,
Very
And-
easy.
I think you
Cavalry.
Oh,
Cavill, man.
Oh, the
Cavalrine.
I like seeing him
Cavalrine.
in the old orange and brown.
Oh,
Orange
the
Route with Hulk.
yeah, Wolverine versus Hulk. That was such a deep cut that I'm really appreciative
It's
that
a
they
comic
threw
too, you know.
that they threw in there. I know it's a comic, but it's a deep cut that they
No,
It
really
is
threw
deep
in
cut.
there.
It is deep cut.
My favorite one is the crucified Wolverine.
You know
That was crazy.
Is that one
actually.
part of House
That
of
was-
X?
Yeah,
Yeah. That one. Yeah, that one was
actually
crazy.
wild. The red
with
skulls on the floor.
all the skulls. Yeah.
yeah. Wasn't that the cover?
It's a cover. Of
It's
an
a cover
X-Men,
of how-
like,
of House of X,
170
yeah.
or
That
something
was
like.
intense.
Uh,
I was
yeah.
like seeing Wolverine like that, seeing Hugh Jackman.
But man, they're going through all these like he's
Patch.
Deadpool's going through and he's got to find all these trying to find these like the right Wolverine, to pull back to his universe, save his universe or whatever it is, and he's going through all these ones and they show up on Cavalrine on Henry Cavill and then they take it away, and then the very last one they come back to him and he turns around and it's Henry Cavill, but man, when the first moment I saw those triceps, I said, I know who that is.
He's got bigger arms.
I'd recognize those triceps
Yeah.
anywhere.
Cal got bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got.
What is he even getting ready for?
Yeah, Josh leaned over and he was like, "Is he bigger than he was in Superman?
Yeah.
I think he's the biggest he was for this."
Yeah,
He's
he was
jacked and he's
big.
big.
in it for,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Yeah, what's he getting ready for? Maybe
Yeah.
it's Warhammer.
Highlander.
Warframe.
He's doing Highlander.
Yeah, he's
doing
doing the new
Highlander.
Highlander.
He's doing Highlander.
But he's also doing Warhammer.
And he's doing Wolverine.
But
He's getting ready.
he was like with the tank top on and the beard. That was like right off of the oil rig Clark Kent.
It was, yeah.
That felt like
It was like a
Man
Witcher.
of Steel. That was really nice to see. I love Henry Cavill.
We've missed him.
We've missed him.
Yeah, it was a
He
good.
needs to be
Superman.
back in.
Yeah, that was a good
something.
I would have been so happy if they would just like, well, this is the Wolverine we're taking, and then he was the Wolverine in the whole movie. That would
That would have been funny.
That would've been great.
funny if they just took him instead. Yeah. That one was cool. The Old Man Logan, the actual not Logan,
Yeah.
but old comic Old Man
Like
Logan with the
Clint
white
Eastwood.
hair and the big
Yeah.
chops.
Yeah,
That was
with
really
the shotgun.
With a shotgun, yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Uh,
Patch was kind of a throwaway.
Yeah, Patch is iconic.
Yeah, I don't even know what they did with him.
They didn't do anything with
He was
Patch.
just-
Yeah,
he was
he
just
just
sitting at
fizzled
the
too.
table.
Yeah.
I would have rather seen Daniel Radcliffe as Patch.
Yeah,
Me too.
me too. That would have been a fun one to throw him in. And then
I really don't know how they kept Chris Evans a secret for
that one's crazy.
Yeah, because he's such a decently big part of the
That was a
film.
great-
Well, nobody
It was good
cares
to see
about
him.
Chris Evans anymore.
Well,
I feel
agree.
like
We had a full conversation where he's in the middle of acting.
Yeah.
But
it's easy. Nobody's like paparazzi's not chasing him down all the time.
You know, I still kind of saw it coming a little bit just because Sean Levy likes to throw Chris Evans in
Yeah, it was,
cameos, or especially in Free Guy, and I think he was in another one. Either way, I don't know.
Yeah,
I saw it and I was like, I feel like what?
I was like, no way.
Yeah.
He said he would never do Captain America
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
He lied.
Yeah.
I was like literally thinking he's a liar. And
I will
then-
say I should have seen it coming, but I did not see it coming. When I first heard his voice, I said, "Oh my God, that's Captain America."
Mhm.
You can recognize his Boston
Yeah.
accent
Oh, yeah.
anywhere, and he did go really Boston in this one for no reason
He did.
too.
The whole after credit scene was him just
Very Bostonian. But when I first saw his voice, he's hooded, and I was like, and you see like his sleeves are
And
blue,
Red,
and red.
yeah.
and you're like, oh my God, it's Captain America, this motherfucker. And then he pulls it off, and he's Johnny Storm, And I was like, I should have seen that coming, and I felt really dirty about myself.
I felt stupid,
Mhm.
especially because when I saw it, I was like, he just looks like Chris Evans.
Yeah.
I feel like Chris Evans does not do anything for his cameos. He just goes in as Chris Evans. He's
Yeah.
one of those guys where like everybody, he's just one of those characters who just do a cameo as himself. And I was like, he doesn't even look like Captain America. They said play him, and I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. He still just looks like Chris Evans. He could have done a little bit more to look like Johnny, but it was cool.
So funny.
Yeah. Even as Johnny, his hair's a little bit lighter.
You guys didn't catch that one cameo where Sue was actually in the movie too, but she was invisible the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
She wasn't. Maybe she was. I don't know.
So was Brad Pitt.
That would have been but he died, didn't he?
He did. No, but
no, they came back.
They came back because remember he went back in time. It's sort of the guy with the guy with the red long hair. He got killed in that helicopter. He's like a green alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the end, he went back in time and said, "Everyone leave. Yeah, don't die." Yeah.
Wow. Lewis might have been there.
That's what I'm saying. That would have been. I didn't actually watch the credits too closely, but it would have been really funny if they put.
Yeah, like Invisible Woman.
Jessica Alba in the credits as
Jessica
Invisible
Alba,
Woman.
Yeah. It's just invisible.
Yeah.
So funny. Connor, what do you got? Love it? You like it? You hate it?
No, it was pretty good. It was a very highly anticipated movie. Because it was such a long haul to get here.
It was.
There's so many movies that you have to watch to get here.
Yeah, literally.
Just my love and anticipation, I
But
think.
also him breaking the fourth wall and calling everybody by their real name instead of their name. Yeah.
I was saying that it was pretty tough because they made a couple of real life divorce jokes in there
with multiple people.
Yeah.
Multiple people.
Jennifer Gardner too.
Jennifer Gardner and Ben Affleck. They made that one, but Hugh Jackman, like if you think about it, he got divorced, and I think it was a civil divorce, but he got divorced maybe about a year and a half ago, but his wife. They've been married from the beginning.
27 years.
27 years, and they were happily married. And I think it was civil. I think it was like a mutual thing. But at the end of the day, they had to have filmed this like a year ago. So that had to be
pretty fresh wound. Yeah, he got hammered in a couple of jokes. We were like, whoa, yeah, it kind of let himself go after the divorce.
Yeah,
like
the long fight scene in the minivan was pretty cool. I thought that was really cool. Except my only takeaway was after the fight scene, they're both laying there, and their suits don't have any holes in them.
There's conveniently a plot rip on both his arms so you can rip them off.
Yeah.
Besides that, their suits are.
But they look like day, night, day again of just stabbing each other because that's all they do is stab each other, and not a single hole in either of their suits.
It's weird they didn't pay attention to that detail, but they literally bloodied up the car with every single splatter.
I think it's also. I don't know if it's cool or not cool that now Deadpool Forever has a whole entire new arsenal of Ryan Reynolds jokes he can use. And I know he's a fourth wall breaking character, but there was too many Ryan Reynolds jokes and not enough Deadpool jokes. There was no chimichangas.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
In any of the movies. I think there's like one
I
or
saw
two
10 different
chimichangas in
Ryan
all three
Reynolds.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
The handsome Ryan Reynolds when he looked at the camera said the proposal.
Yeah, that was actually probably my favorite joke in the movie.
I can lightly tap the fourth wall. Yeah.
Yeah. I could do it too. The proposal.
How about Matthew McConaughey's cowboy?
Cool
cowboy.
Yeah. He's a Peter's goddamn hero.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that McConaughey?
All right.
And Lively, Blake.
Lively, of course, it was Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Channing Tatum though.
Tatum.
Yeah. He was my favorite.
I love that they really played in the New Orleans accent because in the comics and stuff, they're all like, "What do you say it the whole time?" Like he's like really like.
I love that he never stopped. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was
Thank
so
you for
funny.
that.
My favorite part though was making all the jokes about the Gamma movie not being.
Yeah, some people are born or die here
I don't
or
know.
are born here. Yeah,
Yeah. Or born here. That's good.
He kept like slightly making jokes about never being made.
And Channing Tatum's one of those guys where he's like super handsome, but also he's like Chris Hemsworth, where he's like kind of funny actually. It's like nobody should be that stacked in stats, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But he's kind of funny too by himself, and
he's likable.
Yeah, he's likable.
Really likable.
I think that Gambit had a better run in this movie though than he ever would have had in a standalone movie.
Oh,
I agree.
I think
100%.
I think he's actually better off doing it now than than getting his own
It's
Gambit
so
movie.
Maybe when they get to the van, they finally get there. He's like, I finally waiting all the time for this.
I never wanted a Gambit standalone. I just wanted Gambit to be a part of
something.
Part of the
Yeah.
X-Men
Yeah.
universe, yeah.
Even if they would have put Gambit as like X-Men Origins,
Mm-hmm.
Gambit or not Gambit. I'm sorry, Channing Tatum is Gambit. Yeah,
Because it was a different actor.
it was a different actor. I don't know who it was. But I don't think it was him.
It was,
I liked him though.
I liked him as Gambit, but I would have taken Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Remy.
Remy LeBeau. He was so
there
good.
was a Gambit
He has such
already.
a good arc. He has such a good character. If you don't think he's a good character, go watch X-Men 97.
Yeah.
It'll change your mind. That's peak. That's peak X-Men right there. That's miles better than this.
Yeah. I'm still struggling with why they can do animated shows arcs so well and then
So-
not-
In general.
and live action.
Everything animated like hits hard. But
Yeah.
DC and Marvel alike.
Mhm.
I know.
Yeah, I know that that DC kind of actually. So this was, I guess, again, there was really no weight to this movie, but I guess the real weight to it would be, bringing in Fox into Marvel and the whole multiverse thing and resetting certain timelines and so on and so on.
That scene was funny when he started calling out Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, which?
I'm going to Disney World.
When he said,
Oh yeah, when he said, "Fuck you, Fox, I'm
Fuck you,
leaving."
Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that played Gambit in the first one is Taylor Kitsch, who played
Yeah, Taylor Kitsch. That's right.
John Carter.
That's right.
Carter.
He was good.
But even DC just did their animated run of their 3-movie arc of the Crisis on Infinite Earth, and even though that wasn't good, great, I still think it might have been better than this, So
Yeah, it was not good, but it was not bad.
no.
It was kind of alright.
It was
cool.
fun. It was
It was
a
fun.
fun ride.
It was
I had
fun.
It
really
was a fun ride, and that's exactly what it was.
And that's really at the end of the day. That's what the MCU was at a low point. Clearly, they even said it in the film, and the best they can do right now is a fun ride. I'll take it.
I had a little bit higher expectations, and and for one reason only. The only reason would be Deadpool is a fourth wall breaking character, and if you're going to kind of reset the timeline and be like, okay, well now we're going to start putting out good content, he's the character to do it because you can poke fun at everything that's been wrong so far, and you can bring it all into light and say this is all wrong, but we're going to make it better, And I don't think that they did that. So
No, they missed out on that.
As
The whole first act had like a very strange pacing, like the whole him sitting down with Happy Hogan. Obviously the fight with Logan's dead body was really cool, but they paused that, kind of caught us back up to it, and it was just really fascinating that they did that kind of pacing, where they could have easily just jumped right into it.
I feel like they've done that with every single Deadpool
every
movie.
single
They did,
time.
Where they give you something, then they go back, and then they go back.
Yeah,
It's a Deadpool formula.
they have a
Yeah.
formula.
Yeah, every time you're like, "Oh, I wonder how I got here," and I go,
I did like a lot of there was a lot of not just cameos, but there was a lot of Easter eggs, and I did like a lot of the Easter eggs that if you pay close attention to the background and the surroundings, in the void, there's a lot of things in there.
There was a helicarrier in the background. There was an X plane. There was
Those like circle ships from Endgame when they Infinity War.
yeah.
When they come down.
The Guardians ship was
The
there.
Guardian ship was there, and so was the Fantastic Four ship,
Mhm.
car, whatever.
My only thing is I wish Dogpool actually did some like Deadpool stuff.
Yeah, it'd be funny if he
Even Captain Marvel did that right, where they introduced the Flerken.
Yeah.
Don't show anything about the Flerken, and in the end they show the whole tendrils
Yeah.
coming out of its mouth.
They would have done him like Frank from Men in Black.
Yeah,
that
that
would've
would
been
be
good.
great.
You're right. They should have done that.
And
right.
now we're back from outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He doesn't do anything,
Come
but he's just
on,
funny.
Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a dog. It was just a dog.
Yeah.
It was just a dog, yeah. But Frank from Men in Black, and that's just Men in Black's the perfect movie. I
It
think they
is.
need to base it off of
It
Men in
is.
Black
Men in
1.
Black's too good.
There is no fat on
Best
that
Marvel
movie.
movie.
It's the best Marvel
Best
movie.
Marvel.
It is the best Marvel movie. And Men in Black's a Marvel comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think what's gonna save the Marvel universe is Mike Flanagan doing Dark Tower.
Yeah. It's,
Bring it in, make it canon, and let them save the universe.
it is Marvel. Distributed, at least.
There's a lot of Marvel distributed.
Mm-hmm.
In association. I mean, so was Deadpool up until this one. They were all associated with Marvel. Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I do. I'm mad they didn't bring Owen Wilson in. That was a good cameo they could have thrown in. The TVA.
I know.
feel like Owen Wilson would have been
Especially
down for. Owen
pulled
Wilson
him-
seems like a
pulled
down
him off
guy.
a jet ski.
Yeah.
Just want to have my jet
Yeah.
ski.
You know, this is
You know?
at least a good one-line joke from
Yeah.
Owen Wilson would have put it up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. The only TVA actual cameo we got was
Yeah.
the lead. Like,
The leader who
Yeah.
just took over.
and she
Yeah.
just took over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she, from Loki.
No Loki. No.
I
no Loki either.
thought Loki was a missed.
Nothing.
I thought
Loki was
Tom
in this
Hiddleston
one,
was
yeah.
a missed
I agree.
opportunity.
Because he basically runs. TVA
Or even a
now.
joke about Loki.
Well,
I don't think they even made a joke about
he's
Loki.
kind of like the tree of life now.
Yeah, he's-
So I don't know if
somehow,
I don't know if he runs it, but he's like the tree of
He
life.
holds it together.
Yeah, he holds it together. Even
So-
showing that at some point, the
Yeah.
tree of
The
life,
Tree of Life
you
was
know,
nice,
would have
yeah.
been, but they didn't do anything with that.
The
Nothing.
TVA was very unexplored.
It was unexplored and it was important.
We've
It
been
was
going down
unimportant.
this road of multiverse for a couple of years now, and I feel like what they ended up doing is this movie they were trying to like bring Fox in and so on and so forth, but they tried canceling out all of the previous Fox IPs, you know. So that's why they had Jennifer Gardner and
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes and so on and so forth. But I think that it would have been really great if they would have not focused so much on Fox, where it's so irrelevant because it's so old,
Yeah.
and answered a couple of questions that we have from these previous multiverse, like Loki, Doctor Strange. You know, if they would have answered a couple of these questions, like of the movies that and shows that have come out that weren't so that we didn't necessarily like,
Yeah.
and been like, oh well, this is actually this, you know, this was going on
Yeah.
in the background or so on and so forth.
I think a missed joke also was they should have brought Ryan Reynolds in as Hannibal and had either Blade kill him, be like, I'm done with this fool, and kill him, or Deadpool kill him. And that's
Yeah.
how they bury the hatchet, or whatever. I think that would have been a fun one, too. And then also, I think this is the most important thing. I think the only thing that might set up is the anchor characters
Yeah.
from each timeline. That might, do you think that would play in? And then who do you think is Earth 616, the MCU's anchor
Yeah,
character?
They introduced the whole concept
Yeah.
of this film just kind of
Which is interesting because it can't be Tony.
No, unless
Or
that's
Tony.
why everything's going to shit right now.
But they didn't. But they should
I know.
have.
It could be
Yeah.
Tony.
But they should have announced that in this movie.
Yeah, well, continuity.
The fascinating
funny.
part also is that if you remember, Logan takes place in like 2029, and Deadpool 2, when he's talking to him, is like 2024. So even though he dies in the future, it still is crumbling the past and the future, which is very weird.
That doesn't make any sense.
A lot of things don't make sense.
No.
a
Doesn't make any
lot
sense.
of things are
It was just-
you have to just put together with your fan
Yeah.
glue.
This is like 8 years in the future, technically, that Logan doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So like when Deadpool goes to his body, he's going through the future to take his dead body up.
Yeah. I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. I think that if it's not Tony, which I don't want it to be Tony, but it makes sense in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think
Well,
that
if you
Peter,
imagine-
Spider-Man's
if
kind
you
of
That's the
imagine-
only one
yeah.
that makes sense.
Spider-Man.
Imagine a timeline
Yep.
as like a
And it's
horizontal
Marvel's,
glass
Yeah.
board. We
Flagship.
have
because
a
Stan Lee,
pebble come and
Stanley's
break
favorite hero.
Mhm.
come and break the glass board up
He's everywhere.
here and have like it's gonna decay around here and you're
Right,
here.
right.
So eventually we'll
It's
get
gonna-
to you and then everything up here.
right.
So in a way it does kind of, but at the
It
same
kind
time
of
it's like
But they should be talking about it.
I know, they just really casually just bring it
They,
up.
yeah, exactly. They don't explain it.
They should
You
be
leave
talking
it up to the
about it.
fan to figure out this big drop.
Yeah, they should be talking about it. And then if they're putting so much weight on Logan
Yeah.
being the character
Which,
for
by the way, it should have been Toby.
which should have been Toby.
He's not dead.
He's not also Fox.
Not dead.
No, but it if they're putting so much weight on Logan, they should. Marvel should not be focusing so much on Fox IPs, and they should be focusing on their own IPs, and they should be talking about who's the character for 616.
It would have been better, and I think this is what they might do in the Secret Wars. Actually, is have old Magneto and Doctor Doom from Fox
You
be
gotta,
the
you
bad
gotta,
guys.
you gotta really hope that Ian McKellen's gonna live long enough.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want Michael Fassbender.
Fassbender?
And I want original Doctor Doom back. Or if not, just give me a Doctor Doom in general, because Doctor Doom is a cool character.
like the actor from the
Well,
first one.
so they
The guy from
did.
Dick Tuck?
They did outside of so San Diego Comic-Con's going on right
Mhm.
now, and after Deadpool's whole panel, people were met with a drone show from Disney, and they did the Fantastic Four circle in the sky, and then they also had Galactus's head rising
Yeah, which makes sense, Galactus.
which makes sense. It's Galactus, but they're gonna be bringing Galactus in real soon, and they're gonna be bringing Doom in real soon.
Well, it was Secret Wars. They have to, because I think in both iterations of Secret Wars, Doctor Doom is like, they bring him there, and Doctor Doom is like taking over. But then Magneto also gets pulled there to be like help him, and Magneto pulls Magneto and is like, "Fuck you guys, I'm gonna go and do my own thing."
you know what I really hate is after credit scenes now. Like back in the early days of Marvel, after credit scenes were setting up for the next movie. After credit scenes now never really set up for the next movie. They're just jokes. And I don't know why they do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this one, especially this one, they could have probably saved this entire movie for me if they put a good after credit scene that pulled in the next movie. That gets me excited for the next.
Even
one.
like Daredevil, Spider-Man,
Yeah.
or something like that. Something like Team Red.
Yeah.
That's another cool one that we've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm. So
The future is exciting.
Yeah, the fascinating part too, you say that, is that the whole Deadpool 2, the whole after credits scene in that is literally what is based Deadpool 3 on, or Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
So they easily could have done something big where they could have Deadpool 4.
or even bringing it to the next movie, you know, where it's some like what was the end of the after credit scene? I think at the end of, I guess, what was the one right before Guardians? The movie that came out right before Guardians. I don't remember. But there was that one after one where they show Ronan. And he's just sitting on the throne. And you're like, oh, something big's coming, you know. And they're taking it. It's like a Mortal Kombat or like a video game where you have to go through different bosses to get to the big boss.
Yeah.
They're just dropping big bosses in now,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I think that will be fun because eventually we probably will get a Team Red too. Now that he's part of the MCU, and now they're bringing Daredevil, MCU, Spider-Man for the MCU. There's a lot of openings for a lot of cool team ups and a lot of cool. I just hope they don't go the same route necessarily as this.
No, I think they gotta do Solo again.
I think so.
Solo all the way into your stages. Like they soloed it all the way to Thanos, right? They soloed it all the way to Ultron and who was before Loki. So like solo it to Galactus or solo it to Doctor Doom and then solo it to Galactus.
It was gonna be Kang. They threw all that out.
But they weren't really soloing it to Kane though, you know.
No,
they weren't really soloing it to Kane.
Yeah, he was like the semi.
They dropped him in, and he would have been. I think Kang would have been kind of like a Ronin character, where he was like a
semi big
create
character.
Your Iron Man, which one's gonna be Spider-Man. You create Spider-Man 1. You create another character who is like Captain America. Solo movies for that guy,
which is
and
why
then you make the new Avengers.
Which is why I'm excited for Brave New World, because it feels like it's going to be a true standalone superhero movie.
Yeah, it does.
No cameos.
Nothing crazy.
It feels like it's just going to be this is me taking the mantle, and you can.
Get a Bruce Banner cameo.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, but in the same universe.
Yeah, that's okay. We've gotten Hulk cameos and everything. He's never gotten his own one, you know. So
he can't have his own thing. So
yeah, he can't have his own thing. So that's totally fine, and but I think that that one's it's gonna feel like like a Winter Soldier. I feel like it's gonna be a good standalone movie and it's gonna have the weight. I feel like it's gonna have the weight because you got this character who is a hero. He wants to be a hero, but there's gonna be the tragedy sets him. You know,
he can be that character.
But he can be that character, and at the same time, he's also we already know that he's wrestling with taking over the mantle. You know. Of Steve,
right?
And he has no powers.
Internal turmoil and external turmoil.
Yeah, he's got to be
a tragic character,
and that's what a tragic character needs. So I feel like that one's going to actually have some true weight to it, and that's why Joker 1 worked so well, is because there was some real weight, so that you can actually do a character study on these, and you never do They don't do character studies anymore.
Yeah, it's all plot armor.
It's all plot armor.
All plot armor.
I can do anything I want.
I don't know.
I think the biggest miss was bringing Chris Hemsworth into this one.
Oh yeah, I thought he'd been fun.
Into Deadpool.
I mean, he was for a second.
Yeah, he was for a second.
I mean, just on the TV.
Well, maybe it's setting up for.
They made a lot of jokes, but I think if there's one character that can play really well against Deadpool's kind of snarkiness, it would be Chris Hemsworth's humor.
5 years from now, we're gonna be watching that scene.
Yeah, you're right.
They're gonna probably throw it in there.
Avengers 5 will be seeing Deadpool bleed on the battlefield for some reason.
Yeah, that actually might be true. I didn't think about that. That actually might be a foreshadowing. Yeah.
Actually might be a real scene.
For like
that might be a real scene later,
yeah. Avengers 5, really.
Avengers 5, yeah.
But if there's two legacy characters in the Marvel universe right now who are like, I'll ride this for the rest of my life, it's Ryan Reynolds and Chris Hemsworth. It was Hugh Jackman, but he's kind of like I'm.
He wrote it for.
He wrote it. He did it. I really hope he does.
I'll tell you what, dude. For every movie he's in, none of them suck. At least he doesn't suck in them.
No.
He's never
It's,
sucked.
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm trying to
He's
say.
got
is-
such a good arc. Josh was like, bring up the point. He's like, no one ever talks about Wolverine, how good of an arc he has. And it's so
No.
funny because he's not the main X-Men. Like Fox
No.
made him the main X-Men.
Yeah.
And then he just started getting his own movies and being the main character. And they all hit. You can watch his whole entire
Well,
life.
he
or-
has the most baggage out of any of those characters.
he does, yeah.
And he has the deepest pot to pull from.
And he has
out
the
of all
most he can do with it too, because
Mhm.
he can't die, and he's been alive for a long time. So you can
Yeah.
put him way back, you can put him way forward.
And he's a serious character.
yeah, and
you
he's
know?
a serious character.
And you treat him with the respect that they have treated him with the respect that he
right,
deserves.
exactly, yeah.
But I think Chris Hemsworth
It's kind
has
of like what they did with
He's a tortured
Constantine.
character.
He's the Constantine.
Yeah,
and everything.
Constantine's a tortured character.
Yes.
That has the ability to go way back, way forward,
Yes.
not die.
And
He can defy
DC
physics.
needs to hit that right.
Yeah.
So, but I think Chris
Constantine.
Hemsworth has notoriously said, "I will ride this until I die." I love the character, even though he did just come out with his apology.
Yeah.
He doesn't forgive himself for Love and Thunder.
I love that. I don't think I would want another Thor.
Really?
No, we're getting the 4 or 5 for sure.
No. I mean another Thor character.
Oh no! He's the perfect
Sorry,
casting, and he's perfect for it. And I think he knows what he's doing. I think what happened is they just got a little cocky, and he even said in his apology, he said, I can't forgive myself right now for what we did.
Mhm.
I just can't sit with it. I still don't feel right about it, and I think we just got cocky with it. We went a little bit too far, and nobody was telling us no.
How about Thor versus Hercules, though?
Well, that's what I was actually just saying last night. Do you think Hercules is ever gonna? Because that's Brett Goldstein. Right?
Goldstein.
Yeah, from Ted Lasso.
Well, he's Ted Lasso, but he's also like a great writer.
Yeah, what was he in that we were just looking at? He was in Garfield. No.
Oh yeah, he was in
Was it
Garfield.
Garfield?
Yeah, he was in Garfield. Yeah. That was one of the voices.
I think we'll see a Thor Hercules fight.
I hope so.
I don't know, man.
I was just asking Tim about these characters that they've introduced, and I was like, "Do you think we'll ever see these characters again?" And it's like Hercules, Hulk's son.
Yeah.
Um. Yes. What's his name?
Scar.
Scar. Yeah, that's what you're trying to figure it out. Scar.
Scar was one of them.
And then what was the other? There was another character.
It was Harry Styles, Sentry.
Oh, Harry Styles Sentry. Do you ever think we're gonna see?
No, that
Harry-
wasn't Sentry. That was Adam Warlock. No,
No,
It's,
he was
Adam
Thanos'
Warlock's
brother.
It's Fox.
It's Fox.
Fox.
Yeah,
Something
it's
Fox, yeah.
Thanos' brother.
yeah.
If you guys actually watch, so they did like the VR what if on the new Apple headset,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a what if like game on that, but it's the same art style, same voices as the what if show. And there's an episode on that I watched on YouTube of Thanos being on court in front of like all of Xandar. There was like a different universe where Xandar wasn't abolished.
Yeah.
So he's like it looks like Patrick Star with like the chain cuffs in front of like the whole crowd.
Yeah.
But then Star Fox comes and like talks to them. It's like so
Star Fox.
Star Fox. And so it's so weird seeing him like talk with Thanos in the same room.
Yeah.
It's like they don't look. How could they be brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. One's Harry Styles and one's
A purple.
Thanos.
One's Grimace.
One's
One's
Grimace.
Grimace,
One's
yeah.
Rich Grimace.
Yeah.
What's Harry Styles? Like what are we doing?
But do you ever think we're gonna see him again? Because he is trying to break into acting.
And then he's with the other 3 Eternals too.
Yeah, but we see the
But
Eternals
they've already announced they're not doing another Eternals movie.
There's a big rumor though that the Brave New World, the new movie, that they're finally talking about the giant head out of the ocean with the hand.
Oh yeah, that's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
It's in the trailer. The Celestial.
another one is Kit Harington as Black Knight.
Yeah.
Oh,
That one's when they-
Well, that was supposed to be with Blake.
Yeah, I know.
Blade
So we'll
keeps
see.
getting pushed
Yeah,
back and
so
back.
yeah, we'll see.
Well, they also
He's
have.
supposed to be Blade, right?
They also have
This is
announced.
voice.
Yeah.
They also have announced a second Shang-Chi. So
Yeah.
they're officially doing
I love Jake.
a second Shang-Chi, and so we'll see. But those are 4 characters that I just feel like, are we gonna see these characters again? Like
They need to bring Nova in and just call it Ryan Gosling Nova. Call
no,
it a day.
he's too old now.
Ryan Gosling Nova? You don't think would you be mad if that happened?
Would you rather have Ryan Gosling as Nova or as
Beta Ray.
Beta Ray Bill would be crazy. No, but as Ghost Rider.
Oh, I don't want him.
He'd be cool as Ghost Rider.
I
I
don't
don't
know. In
know.
the motorcycle.
He's too Ryan Gosling now.
It
He's
would
too character-y.
he did drive, and now
Yeah.
if you ever see him driving anything, it's
Yeah,
he doesn't talk in his
he's
movies.
too
you
fun
know,
to be.
so
Yeah,
He could be Ghost Rider. He goes on the drive jacket.
yeah,
I could
grabs a
be
hammer.
okay with him being it, but I wouldn't. He'd not be my first choice.
it wouldn't be my first.
I want the
choice.
guy from Walking Dead to be Ghost Rider.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a good one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I was
I
kind
feel
of
like Ghost
surprised.
Rider's gotta stay Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can't have.
You can't have that
switch
argument
between
the whole
people.
time.
I was hoping for a Nick Cage cameo.
What?
Ghost Rider should be in.
That'll be the only one.
Secret
that
Wars
feels
too.
like
I
Cage.
think that Nick Cage didn't do it because he was filming Long Legs. I think at the same time.
I feel like he would have done it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But he also
He
did
did
the
Superman.
Superman
He did
cameo, and I don't think he wants to do a bunch of cameos.
Yeah.
I think he chose the Superman cameo
That was
over
awesome.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider.
That one, I think he felt more strong about Ghost Rider than obviously.
Well,
he
he's-
likes Superman
he
better.
named his son
Yeah.
Kal-El.
Obviously, he likes Superman better.
And plus, the Superman never got.
And yeah, he never got the way that he.
Now, if they ever made a Luke Cage movie and they asked him to be in it, I bet you he'd do it.
The only thing that would save this, I think 15 years from now, maybe sooner, probably sooner, because they actually announced some stuff. If Disney buys DC or something like that,
I hate it.
and have a DC and Marvel together,
That'd be wild.
that'd be wild.
Yeah.
But
It
I
would
don't
be
know.
wild. I was actually
Disney seems like, after reading Bob Iger's book, it seems like a move you'd pull.
I was
don't know.
actually just telling Tim about this comic series or this comic run for Marvel, because they've done crossovers DC and Marvel, and there's actually one character that they share. There's one character that Marvel and DC share, and his sole purpose is to keep the universes apart. But there's one scene in one of the Marvel comics where all of the speedsters in the Marvel universe are having a race, and out of nowhere, this guy runs up, and he looks like Castaway. He's got this huge blonde beard, huge hair, and he's like not wearing a suit, but he's got red shorts that are like kind of cut up. And he just comes in and he runs with these people, and he just kicks their asses. Like, he's so much faster than all of them. And they're like, "Who are you?" He's like, and he can't remember. He's like, the only thing he can remember is buried alive, or buried ally. And he's Barry Allen, but he can only remember buried ally. And it's like, man. But that's the thing.
But yeah,
is-
cooks them all. Like,
He
cooks
cooks
them
them
all.
all. Like, that's the thing, is you can't put the DC
So funny.
universe in the Marvel universe because
The power level is
the
so
power level, the dynamic is like
dynamic. The character dynamic.
The
It would be crazy.
DC
you
don't
can't throw them in there. They're too strong. They're so much stronger than Marvel characters.
Anyone in DC.
I don't know. Professor X was just making Nick out.
No way, dude. There's so
No, they
much
figure out some stuff
stronger.
around that.
Professor X was just making
Give
Nick
Batman
out.
prep time.
Yeah. I mean, it's as
Professor X will make him Nick out.
it's as easy as literally Flash just slowing down time so he can't even think.
Yeah.
Just going into that Speed Force.
Superman
realm.
can
Yeah.
slow down time.
That faster than he could even.
Mhm. Green Lantern could just put a helmet around his head,
Yeah.
suffocate him.
Yeah.
You know, Martian
They-
Manhunter.
Yeah,
could
they
get,
dealt with Grodd. They
Martian
could-
Manhunter,
Got
Martian
it.
Manhunter could just get in his head.
They dealt with Grodd.
Yeah,
Dude, Grodd's probably just as strong of a telepath as
he probably
As
is.
Professor
That.
X.
So probably John Jones.
probably. Yeah, John Jones could probably hold. That'd be a cool
Mm-hmm.
John Jones and Professor X and
I would-
Mind
the
War?
Mind
the
War.
only reason I'd be into it though is if John Jones did a scream.
Superman.
Yeah, Superman. So, but that's all I have for Wolverine and Deadpool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Deadpool
It was
and
good.
Wolverine.
It was
It
fun.
was such a fun film, and definitely some expectations were not fulfilled.
Yep.
But
At-
at the end of the day,
At the end
I
of
think
the
I'm
day-
just sick of fun films, and I give me a good film.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know?
I agree with that. My only grade at the end of the day, fundamentally, is did I waste my time and money? And I do not think I wasted my time or money.
No.
It was fun. I had fun. I had a good time at the theater with you guys. I like the characters. I like the sequences. You know, as much as it is fan pandering, I am a fan. So
Yeah.
it was pandering to me as well. And it was not a good movie all the way, but it was not a bad movie all the way.
I agree with those.
Yeah.
I still can't believe they didn't change Tatum again. But
There were a lot of cool, fulfilling things in there. Yeah.
All right, this is the part of the podcast, solo missions. We talk about what we've all been doing individually, what we've been reading, what we've been watching, what we've been listening to, just on our own time. Tim, you want to start?
You know what? Connor, do you want to start? I gotta think what I'm actually watching right now.
No, I'll kind of start. Well, mostly I'm just working on a lot of business stuff, so I'm just trying to go through a lot of ideas with our team here. Working through different stuff that we're gonna do in the future. Just watching different films. We tried to start the Garfield one, but that didn't really work out. We watched the X-Men. Which one was it?
We watched a couple of them leading up to this
Watched a couple
X-Men
of
or
X-Men movies.
Deadpool Wolverine. We just finished Last Stand though.
Yeah. So we watched all the way up to Last Stand. That's pretty much all I
Yeah,
did.
there's not a lot of time to watch stuff.
Yeah,
Not a lot of time to watch.
that's fair. Nate, we've been doing anything this past week before you got here?
I finished a few books. The book that I'm on right now is just something for my own business.
What is your business, Nate?
My business is I'm a personal trainer, and I solely just focus on building clientele, helping them reach their goals with health and wellness. And I don't own a gym or anything like that, so it's just a personal training business. But the book I'm reading is about owning a gym, but the biggest concept is he uses personal training to build his gym. So I'm just kind of taking his wisdom. He pretty much goes in the book from the start when he was broke or living in his gym, and he breaks it down from the very beginning and how he got out of it. So and you can kind of just see his steps, and I'm just trying to imitate, take those steps away. So that's been my week or month or so.
You want to drop the name of the book?
It's called Gym Launch.
Gym launch. I think Tim's been doing the same thing.
Yeah, I'm actually. I'll get to that when I get to mine. I was in the playoffs. You were saying.
I've been going through the Steve Jobs book again, and it's my second time reading it by William Isaacson, William Isaacson. And I think there's a lot of, like, to Nate's point, I think there's a lot of lessons to be taken from these types of books, especially when you're searching for these lessons. I think one of the best things about our day and age is the classic route to getting any sort of success is typically finding your passion, honing in on your passion, and training yourself to a point where you're as far as you can get by yourself, as good as you can get. And then you go and you find a mentor. And then your mentor is kind of who teaches you the rest and takes you under their wing and pushes you into the stratosphere. But I think, in 2024, we don't necessarily, the structure has shifted because we have so many resources. We have media. We have so many resources at our disposal where you don't necessarily, you can find all the information by yourself. The only thing you're lacking is a genuine conversation.
Yeah,
right.
That's the only thing you're lacking.
Critical questioning.
I really feel like an example is like I don't know if I'll ever meet this guy.
Yeah,
but he literally broke down it to the point where I'm like, I don't think I need to meet this guy.
Right.
I can just implement and see what works.
It's literally just a condensed version of their best lessons.
Yes.
Yep.
Except for you can't be critical about it and ask, like, go deeper into something.
And
you have what's there, but also you have what's there, which is
you don't have their resources, basically.
Yeah.
You don't have their network. That's the only thing you don't have. But that's why I really hone in on books like Stephen King on writing, the Steve Jobs book. I'm gonna start this Bob Iger book once Tim's finished with it. But even that's why I'm reading The Hero's Journey, is because I'm just trying to hone in on the craft as well as I can and become immersed in it. I just feel like I'm in a pool of only thinking about what I am trying to accomplish. And I think the Steve Jobs book does that really well for me on a couple of different levels. I think Apple's such an anomaly where it's like your corporate structure typically is you have C-level executives and their Ivy League or their business school graduates, where these dudes were just in the garage and then they started a company where there wasn't really a market for this product until they created the market for the product.
It's the quintessential garage starting.
It is like
the startup.
It's literally a garage band. It's literally a garage
where
band.
They just had to think outside the box and then to get where they were.
Right, but even as you read the book, when they start they become an incorporated company, and Steve really wasn't the CEO until he came back after they fired him. But they brought in different CEO. So like John Scully, for instance, and John Scully shows up and he was the CEO of Pepsi, and he's like flabbergasted by how this company is run because it's so unconventional for how a normal company should be run, quote unquote. where it was like they're pitting each other themselves against each other. There's like turmoil within the company, but it's driving production, and driving creativity because
It should not have worked. But
it should not have worked, but it worked.
Everyone,
yeah,
played their part.
It's such an anomaly, but I do think one of the best things about the Steve Jobs book, and the reason I'm reading it for a second time, is Steve commissioned the book before he died, knowing he was going to die, and he specifically asked him to tell the good parts and the bad parts of the whole story in his life, and I think that you see the growth in Steve Jobs throughout the entirety of the book, and it's a long book, but I think that as you're listening to this, if you're smart and if you're looking for certain lessons, you start to pull these lessons out that are, like, oh, I see that it's contradictory. I see that in the beginning, Steve Jobs might have done this or said this, but as he grew in knowledge and wisdom and immersed himself in what he was doing, he found a better way to do it, and you can take those better way to do it lessons instead of having to start where he started. You can start at a head start,
Exactly. Man.
So
it's really nice. It almost feels like you're not walking in the dark. You can kind of see everything.
You have something that
you're imagining.
Mm-hmm.
At least you can put it more into picture.
There's lanterns all around. I think also I've been listening to a lot of Jordan Peterson. And I think another thing to say about the mentor thing in our current age of the digital age, Jordan Peterson just a couple of days ago launched a new, it's called Peterson University. And it's basically, it's like masterclass kind of. It's like an online university. But Jordan Peterson was a professor at Harvard like 20 years ago. And he kind of, before he was big, he started putting his lectures out on, YouTube, being like, I'm just going to try this. Maybe I'll reach a bigger audience this way. And he did. He saw real growth in that. So anyways, Harvard did not like that. They got rid of him, all that type of stuff, And they did him dirty. And he's become, obviously, Jordan Peterson since then. But his entire path, he's been trying to build a university that is affordable and gives you the best, education that you can actually get. We have Harvard. We have all these big, universities that continually say we're going to offer you the best of the best of the best, but they don't treat their professors well. They're going down the drain in terms of exclusivity. There was a thing about Harvard where it was exclusive, and there's something to be said about that, where everybody is in the same caliber when I don't think everybody necessarily is. You have to want it to be there. But now Harvard's kind of opened their doors. But one of the things about this university is he's only charging $450 a year. So you pay $2,000 for a 4-year degree, and he's getting the best professors. And it's not just a recording of the lecture. He's also going to have, it's like a real lecture, but the room is filled with people who interviewed who actually want to be there and learn about these things. So you're also going to get those critical questions. Yeah. So if you have a question, I guarantee you somebody else has that same question and they're going to ask it. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty cool.
So I'm interested in that. I'm going to do a little bit more research. I'm doing research into that, and honestly, I might enroll.
If it's accredited.
If it's accredited, yeah.
That'd be nice. If it's not accredited, it's still the knowledge is power.
It's still the knowledge is power, but
nice.
it like I said, it just launched like 2 days ago. So, so I've been doing a lot of research into that. And as for movies and TV shows, I've just been watching Batman Beyond on repeat.
Nice. You've been playing Suicide Squad, though.
I have been playing Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and it's been fun. And I just haven't been playing it. It hasn't gripped my attention as much as the Arkham games have, or even honestly Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights kind of got me. I liked it.
Those aren't solo games, though. So like Batman Arkham Knight and all those are solo games.
Yeah, they are solo games.
These are more multiplayer games. You gotta have people that create that atmosphere.
Yeah. It's really fun.
League, so.
I think that the game style is really fun, and I think that the story is really kind of a cool story. I just don't like how they make me do side missions to get to the main story. Yeah. Just let me get to the main story.
They could have done it better.
But I'm excited to see what the DLCs are, because they've already come out with the Joker DLC, and I hope they keep the servers open long enough to do some really cool DLCs.
It seems like it's getting a little bit better reception than Gotham Knights was. Not by far. Not by far. It got way better than Avengers. Avengers is already gone.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Yeah, I played the shit out of that game. It's gone. It was so the story of
It was
Adventure was so good,
The
but
concept was there.
and even the multiplayer was so good, but it was after you beat the game, there's nothing to do, even though they have all these.
One of the things I'm most excited about because of Kill the Justice League is, the game is fun, and we know that DC has the capacity and the capability to put out some really good games.
Mm-hmm.
With James Gunn taking over the DC and Peter Safran taking over the DC kind of media side of things, and James Gunn saying that it's going to be cross-platform or cross-media compatible, where you're going to have the same characters in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like David Corton Sweat. If they do a Superman video game at some point, it's going to be David, and it's going to be canon to the story.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have a lot. The story is going to be so vast.
It's going to be tough because you have a lot of catching up to do if you don't know what's going on.
If you don't know what's going on, because everything is going to be in it except for the comics. The only thing that's not going to be in it is the comics, but everything else. And Elseworld stuff. But the movies, the games, everything else is going to be, canon to the overarching story. So it's going to be fun, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of everyone who is like going on these book journeys, it's better than themselves, which is really cool. I'm also kind of on the same boat where I just finished Steve Jobs' book actually off a recommendation of Josh, and then I jumped into Bob Iger's book. I actually finished that one too. Very good. It's a totally different look at than Steve Jobs because he didn't start a company and Bob Iger's very conventional and moved his way up through the company. So it was cool, two different looks at it. But kind of off that, I've been bouncing because Steve Jobs in his book, they talk a lot about Disney and Pixar. That kind of was what gave me an idea and then I also talked about Josh reading the same book, reading Bob Iger's. And then from Bob Iger's, they talk a lot about Pixar and the takeover of Pixar and that whole thing, which also has Steve Jobs in it. And so they all kind of connect. So now I'm reading Ed Catmull's book, who's the guy who created Pixar, which I think is the closest to what we're trying to do as a company as well, where it's actually this unconventional story of this guy trying to create a production company. And I think it has some very good lessons in it. And it's very interesting so far. So I'll let you guys know how that is once I finish that in the next podcast or next whatever. But then just as entertaining, I started Foodtopia.
Did you?
Yeah, Connor and I started it. It's kind of funny. I do see what you're saying with the animation being worse. It does feel like a TV show. Like feels like Penguins in Madagascar.
Still throwing though.
But yeah, it was all the original voices, which is cool. And then we've been slowly going through that Presumed Innocent show still on Apple TV Plus with Jake Gyllenhaal, and that one actually is getting really good too. But, those are the two. And then I started the first episode because I get in these like tangents where once I like a certain, and Josh is the same, wherever you like a certain character or a certain actor, and then you go through the whole thing. So that's why I'm watching all the Wolverine movies again, and I started watching X-Men: The Wolverine again. I just went through a lot of '97 X-Men, just like the original X-Men.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started watching that, and actually I'm gonna jump into the X-Men anime or the Wolverine anime. I think there's only 12 episodes. I
always wanted to get into it.
Yeah. They have a Blade one. They have an Iron Man one.
There's a lot of great superhero animes out right
now. A lot of Marvel.
The Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad is that's another one I want to start. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm going.
Lord of the Rings is getting their own anime.
Lord of the Rings is getting their own anime, and it looks awesome.
And their own like animated movie this year too, right?
That's what
it is. An anime.
It's an anime movie.
And theaters too.
Yeah.
Cool. That'd be fun.
I know.
Yeah, the only thing. So my sister's visiting me this week in California, so I've just been doing stuff with her around town, like going to the Grove and going to Santa Monica today. But her and I did watch the first two Deadpools, or watch the first one and then watch the second one as a group. But just to get ready for the third one, obviously. And I did forget how many great little tidbit scenes there are in the first Deadpool. Like the writing is like really good in some segments, like when he first finds out he has cancer, and like Vanessa's talking to the doctor. That whole dialogue is really great in that scene. But yeah, I have not read or watched anything by myself this week. But yeah, what have you been up to?
Cool.
Tim, would you rather live in the past of the dinosaurs or live in an apocalyptic hellscape?
what consists of the house cave?
A nuclear fallout.
If I had the knowledge I have now, I would probably. If it was like Fallout, I'd go to future. But if it was like Terminator or like Matrix,
Skynet.
yeah, if it was Skynet, then I'd go past. I know if I have the knowledge I have now, even with what little knowledge I know of, like actually when we get down to the environment of 200,000 years ago, I know kind of the MO of what dino. I've seen Jurassic Park.
Well, also,
I imagine it more like Wall-E, where like you're just the only being.
Oh, I'm going back. I go back to and get some nature.
Well, the thing about dinosaurs is, we might think that dinosaurs might have been around for as long as, or as recent as like 100,000 years, or like maybe even 50,000 years ago. And we also know that some of the dinosaurs, they didn't all line up at the same time.
Right, no,
so you could go hit a.
It wasn't like Jurassic Park.
You could hit a jackpot where it's just like Stegosauruses and Bronciosauruses walking around, And it's like a utopia.
Yeah. It wasn't like they were all just hanging out in an
Yeah.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah. There's I don't think Stegosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex
at the same time.
Close
Yeah.
to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go back.
I'd probably go back.
The bugs would be big though.
The bugs would be big. It is what it is, I guess. Better than Skynet.
It's better than Skynet.
Or being alone in a city forever.
Yeah.
With super mutant zombies.
Yeah.
Super mutants. Death claws running around.
Yeah.
Just always running.
Oh man. Or I Am Legend. Yeah. I would hate that. That'd be an only.
Well, those are like actual like monsters out there. Or would you rather have the monsters or just be completely alone?
That's with the monsters.
At least it's
Give something to
interesting.
do.
Yeah.
Give something to do during the day.
Give something to do, yeah.
I'm alone. It's just desolate. You're just
Yeah.
sitting there. What are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
If you had to set up like Will Smith and I Am Legend, where you can like barricade the house.
True.
Yeah.
They don't come out during the day either.
Yeah,
At least give a task.
He's got it good that they don't come out during the day too.
I know.
Like,
He's got lucky.
yeah, like
He's
Brad
hitting
Pitt,
golf
World War
balls.
Z, it's a whole different story. Yeah, I would not do a Brad Pitt World War Z.
No, that was rough.
Yeah. Where they're like making monkey chains.
Yeah. Climb up walls and
I'm
stuff.
good.
Thank you. Yeah. You're right. Dinosaur times would be great, but it would
Be better than that.
Think about the eggs. Fry up a giant dinosaur egg, man.
Yeah, keep
That'll
going
feed
for
you for a
month.
week. Yeah.
It's gotta be plenty of caves you can sleep in too, right?
Yeah.
If there's a dinosaur not in it, but yeah.
Except for the fact that in the future there might be the technology to be able to fix your past or your future. In the past, you're kind of screwed unless you're a genius. Unless you're Dr. Stone.
Right. Like you're stuck in the past.
Yeah.
So, great.
See that Dr. Stone reference? Yeah.
In the future, you might have a possibility of, fixing it. But,
Right.
Everybody else have anything?
No.
I could throw it in there.
That's it.
All right, just cut it so I can think of one for a sec. All right, speaking of superheroes, do you think
Who?
this is not a would you rather? This is not. Oh, is it?
Is it hypothetical?
Connor, yeah. This is not even a hypothetical. This is just an opinion between two characters. So we were talking about this earlier. Do you think that Wolverine or Batman's a more badass character?
Yeah, no. Batman with prep time would probably beat Wolverine, but Batman's got like an aura, a dark aura to him, where Wolverine's more like punky. He's a street man.
He's a brawler.
Yeah, he's a brawler.
Yeah.
They fight
Batman's
both
more
world
like
wars.
yeah.
I kind of
And the revolutionary. And the civil.
The way I explained it was, I think is I think it's really funny because Batman, I think he is so OP and badass because he knows everything, or at least puts the facade that he knows everything, and that's what makes him kind of badass. But Wolverine is not necessarily a smart guy; he just doesn't give a fuck.
No.
So that's what makes him badass. It's just like whatever.
Yeah, strong and immortal.
Yeah, Batman's like whatever. I got a plan. Wolverine's like whatever. I'll figure it out. But I'm still gonna.
I
kick your
think
ass.
I think
You're right.
Batman.
Yeah.
I think the reason that Batman's so OP is because we relate to him
Yeah.
on some of it, because he's just a human. Like, man, maybe I
Maybe
could,
someday.
someday if I train hard enough, I could be
We've all
Batman.
been
You
there.
know?
I can do that too.
Yeah, and that's why I think Batman.
Yeah.
Batman would kick ass.
Batman would probably kick ass, but I think that Wolverine is more just standard badass.
I didn't really like how Wolverine's cowl was like Batman
Mhm.
in this movie. His eyes kind of movie like Deadpool's, but he had
Did
the.
he make a reference on Batman?
They made a couple of they made one in this one, and they made one in the last Deadpool too. But like a Martha joke in the last one.
Yeah, you're right. There's Martha joke.
A Martha joke. I think that's so funny that Zack Snyder was like, I was so dumbfounded that people didn't think it was like that's the scene that stood out.
The Martha scene.
The Martha scene. Yeah. It wasn't even a bad scene. Like, what's so bad about it? Yeah, but
Haters gonna hate.
haters gonna hate.
And that about wraps it up, guys. And one more time, I want you guys to go like and subscribe. I appreciate all the views that we get. I appreciate all of you guys. So please check out our website. Our services are provided in the description. So go check that out. And that's about it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.